The Great Lakes of New South Wales are amongst the biggest collection of coastal waterways anywhere in Australia. Smith Lakes, Wallace Lakes and the Mile Lakes. Well, ahead adventures with dolphins, dingoes and mud crabs as we feature the Great Lakes in this episode of Travel Oz. Hello, I'm Greg Grainger. Also in this episode, the two Tims will show us the many faces of coffee in the Atherton Tablelands. And Dr. Sally Grainger takes us to Port Macquarie, a learn to surf class, an abseiling lesson, and a visit to the Koala Hospital. But first up, we'll travel back to Australia's Cocos-Keeling Islands in the Indian Ocean for a wedding in the Cocos-Malay community. On Home Island in Australia's Cocos-Keeling Islands, the Cocos-Malay people, descendants of coconut-picking slaves, still practice their own culture and language. Today, the Cocos-Malay people are gathering at this house for the start of a wedding service where the bride and groom are treated like royalty for the day. Brightly coloured sweets are on offer, and spicy Malay cuisine is being cooked up in the biggest of saucepans. Because everyone, all 600 of the Cocos-Malay people, will attend. They're devout Muslims, these Cocos-Malays, but that's no deterrent to them having a big and noisy celebration. First to be fair to the women, after all, they've been preparing this food for days and they're always offered the first taste. What follows is some light-hearted fun. Buckets are filled with water, then thrown over unsuspecting guests. It's the prelude to the procession, where the entire population walks around this small settlement. Well, now for the most colourful part of the ceremony. This is called the Mengarat, with Lazim, the groom, walking from his house to that of the bride. Lazim Yadrak is being paraded from his house just a few blocks to where he'll be officially united with his bride Emily. He's been dressed in the highly colourful wedding garb fashionable in Malaysia a century ago, with his mother and sister holding his hands on either side of him. Under the shade of giant umbrellas, the guests chant songs from the Quran. The groom has to maintain a strict, solemn face for the occasion, but the guests are allowed much more latitude as they sing to the beat of the drummers in this tent outside the family home of the bride. And then it's time for Lazim to enter the bride's house. There she is, adorned in equally traditional colourful garments. There's a brief photo session, a hug from the relatives, before they both emerge to rejoin the procession. They'll walk for another 15 minutes around the other side of their settlement, both maintaining that serious, sombre look. On this most joyous of days, they're not yet allowed to smile. As we're witnessing, this is a most unusual ceremony in a most unusual part of Australia. Because since 1978, when the Australian government purchased the islands from John Clooney's Ross, the Cocos-Malay people have voted to become Australian citizens, enjoying all the rights and privileges of other Australians. Today, some of the well-wishers dance spontaneously. Then newlyweds Lazim and Emily are seated at the end of the tent adjoining his family home. They're treated to a series of performances befitting their status of royalty for the day. Lazim and Emily met while he was working in Malaysia, and she's now returned to his home here to begin a family. Again, throughout this performance, they'll sit stony-faced in their traditional headdresses and robes. People who are not from the Cocos-Malay community are welcome to attend these ceremonies, although marriage to outsiders is strongly discouraged. What the Cocos-Malay people are trying to do is preserve the social harmony and integrity of their island community, with a lifestyle that has changed little in the past 2 centuries. In between performances today, I'm granted an audience with the newlyweds.
So how's it feel to be the king and the queen?
Yeah, great. I mean, happy and everything. It's like I'm the king, you know? It's like, yeah, it's beautiful. We have to wear this sort of culture dress for at least half a day.
So it's quite magnificent. You've got the batik-style headdress, flowers adorning that. The banknotes, what's the significance of the Australian folded banknotes hanging from your head?
It's like a gift.
And a lot of the guests will give you money, banknotes?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds good. And everyone will be asking this. You've just got married. How many children on the way?
Don't know yet.
Haven't planned the children yet?
Planned yet.
So the question of children did raise a smile. For the remainder of the day, Lazim and Emily will watch as their male relatives go through elaborate dances, all part of a wedding ceremony unique to Australia's Cocos-Malays.